Listen to Flyers hockey on 3 stations this year. 97.3 ESPN will carry select Flyers games. We will also have all the games on our sister stations, 1450 AM and now 104.1 FM.
Oh,
so
nice.
3 choices for Flyers hockey, and we're going to be doing something with the Flyers next month that we'll be telling you about. That's going to be really cool, and you'll be hearing our next guest coming up opening night. We'll have that game, 10:30 start against the Kings, October the 16th, I believe. It's a Saturday night in L.A., and that means Steve Coates is going to be getting himself in some trouble, I'm sure.
Yeah, October 14th.
There we
right.
go. Oh, I said 16th. I was
You're
wrong,
close.
Peter.
You're close.
I was wrong.
October 14th.
Coatesy, how are you, pal?
Gentlemen, very good. How about you guys?
We're doing great. We wish you, could be here with us, but we know the season is getting underway, which makes you extra busy as the Flyers preseason underway. And, hey, a lot of excitement. You know, it's funny because you got Wentz going on, the Sixers over there with all their young guys, Embiid and Simmons are out there, but the Flyers got a lot of young talent out on the ice, and a lot of people are buzzing about already that have performed in the early going in these preseason games.
Well, you know, we've had a couple of looks. Actually, we played 4 games in 3 nights. The young kids have really got a good look and an opportunity because of the World Cup and the number of players that have been participating for the Flyers in the World Cup. They had to fill those voids with these young kids in the preseason games, and boy, they got a real great opportunity and a great opportunity for management to see players like Ivan Provorov, who's been very, very impressive, a goaltender named Alex Lyon out of Yale, very impressive. Anthony Stolarz, once again last night, doing a good job in the first period, shutting out. Both he and Alex Lyon got the shutout last night. And then Travis Konechny with a goal and assist last night. He really came to the forefront as far as training camp. And a sleeper, a guy that just came out of nowhere named Philip Myers. He's 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get drafted a couple of years ago, but boy, I'll tell you what, does he have a grasp for playing the game? So it's a lot of good young guys and a lot of things to look forward to.
Yeah, I saw his name last year kind of showing up on your prospect list as guys to keep an eye on. You mentioned Provorov and Konechny. They are kind of the Simmons and Embiid of the Flyers right now. Would you surmise that one has a better shot or that both have a good shot to make this roster? How would you handicap their possibilities of making the team?
Well, it's very simple in my mind. They've got to show Ron Hextall that it's a no-brainer. If it's an iffy thing, they're going to go back. But if it's an absolute no-brainer where you look and say, okay, we just can't send this kid back, he's not going to learn anything there, he's going to learn here. I would say if you're going to throw everything up in the air and see what's going to land, I would say that Provorov is probably the leading candidate in that circumstance. I think that you could probably carry 8 defensemen to start the year, and he would allow himself to get 10 games in for them to take another good look at him after the preseason. Konechny, he got off to a little bit of a slow start. He got going last night because he got to play with Raffle and Shen, so he'll have another opportunity. There's 4 games to go. How many he'll see, I don't know, but he'll have a lot more opportunity to show them in the next week or so. But it's going to be an interesting situation because Ron Hextall is adamant about not rushing kids. Well, Provorov was the best defenseman in Canada last year. I mean, there isn't anybody in hockey who doesn't say he's not ready to play. And in what we saw in the couple of games he played, he's got a lot of poise, likes to take the ball. He's not worried about what he's got to do out there. He's a reactor. He's not a thinker and a reactor. He's a reactor. And he's going to be a good one. So how quick that happens, I don't know. But those are the 2 guys that really are the top of the heap when it comes to the opportunities or the propensity to make this hockey team.
Steve Coates is with us talking Flyers hockey, and the Flyers will host Boston in an exhibition game on Saturday night, and then they have a couple more exhibition games after that. Next week, the season does start October 14th in Los Angeles. So they're at 39 now, Coatesy. They will probably carry about 23. And you talked about the defensemen and the wealth of defensemen that the Flyers really have, including Phil Myers. Another name, Samuel Morin, is another name that people remember as a high draft pick from a couple of years ago. How would you rank the young prospects if you were looking at Provorov, Sanheim, Myers, and Morin? How would you put those 4 in a ranking of the defensive prospects?
In this order, I would go Provorov, Sanheim, Myers, Morin.
And yet Moran seems like he put a lot of weight on Coates. That was always the thing. I mean, they drafted him with that idea of like he was going to be a Zdeno Chara type player, but he's always so skinny. He looks like he's finally eaten something.
No, he's a big boy. There's no two ways about his big boy. But the combination of physical play and the way the game, I'm not too sure that physical doesn't fall behind skill now when you're having the ability to really get the puck out, move the puck, pass the puck, skate with the puck. And of all the four guys I just talked about, I would say that the skating is what I really look at as far as evaluating, with Provorov being first, and then Sanheim, and then Myers. And then, of course, Moran. Moran played good last night. I'm not taking anything away from it. But, you know, with the addition of Philip Myers into that grouping as far as defense is concerned, it just gives you more assets that, oh, yeah, you might not use them, but you might be able to trade to be able to get more assets in the forward position.
Speaking of those forward positions, is there anybody of the veterans that have stood out to you so far in the preseason in the forwards?
No. You know, Peter, the cream comes to the top. Veterans just come. They're trying to get through the preseason without getting injured. They're trying to get into game shape, but they're all in shape now. And you know, they get put in, they get put out. It's just a time where it's a necessity. But we always, as long as I've been doing this, we always rave about this player and that player and this player and that player. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks, you go, where are they? Because the young players come in and they draw a lot of attention. We're looking at the beginning, and they're going 100 miles an hour, and the veterans are just getting along and moving along. But in another 2 weeks, the cream will come to the top, and we'll find out who's standing as far as the young guys is concerned.
All right, Coatesy, it's a age-old question in Philadelphia, the goaltender. What is that battle like? How is it shaping out? How do you envision this year's goaltending as the goalies in Philly turn?
I would say that we have two number ones, Michael, and I think that it's going to be I'd say that it's going to be a duo day to day. In other words, I would say they're going to alternate. I can't say that one is better than the other because I think they're equal. I think if you look back at last year, I even told you on many occasions that I thought Neuvirth would be the starting goaltender in the playoffs because he was the better goaltender at that time. Then he got hurt, and Mason came in and did a heck of a job. Mm-hmm. So they both did a great job. So I think our goaltending is as good as we can get right now, and I think we got a lot to look forward to in the two kids I talked about, in Stollers and Lyon. But I think goaltending-wise, Mason played really good on Tuesday night. Neuvirth's coming back from the World Cup. I think there's a lot of real good things to look forward to there.
So similar to last year, no clear-cut guy. Whoever's the hot guy will get to maybe an extended game or two, and we'll see it all. But last year was weird because once one guy would get hot, he would get hurt, right? And then they had to, by default, had to go to the other guy, and then it kind of kept circulating like that leading into the playoffs. So always a goalie question in Philly. But hopefully it's two really good goalies this time instead of two guys who aren't very good.
That's great, absolutely. But, if you remember correctly, last year it was Mason who was the number one, and Neuvirth had been brought in as the backup. Neuvirth's always been known as a great goaltender, but he couldn't stay healthy. So all of a sudden you bring in Mason is the kind of guy that obviously he likes to be the number one guy. Boy, I'll tell you what, he looks sharp right now. So, but Neuvirth deserves the same opportunity, but he's been at the World Cup. So I would say that you're going to see an alternating situation, and maybe one comes ahead of the other according to play. Injury comes into play again, but I don't think there's a clear-cut number one here. I think that they both deserve a consideration.
Steve Coates, Flyers Radio Network. The Flyers back on 97.3 ESPN. We'll have the opener against the Kings Friday night, the 14th. That is a 10:30 start. You'll hear that game on 97.3, and we hope to catch up with Coatesy throughout the season here with Mike Gill, and that's on Pete Thursdays, Thompson. He's got his Flyers shirt on there, Coatesy.
Yeah, I'm representing for you, bud. I got my Flyers colors on today.
Yeah, another free shirt, eh, Pete?
No, you have to pay when they're the extra big sizes. You have to pay for that extra size.
That's it. You got that 10th size.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Canvas.
That's that extra material.
That 10th size.
It's a 52.
All right, pal. Take care.
You got it, guys. Take care, bud.